الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأزواجه وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. We continue with some extra material after finishing level 1 early. And we said that we would cover this book just because it's interesting and it will help us in our vocabulary. Of the Qur'an. I'll wait a few minutes for some people to attend, to join the room. Inshallah ta'ala, we will finish this book in 2 days. And the day after that, which today is, I believe, Yom al-Thulatha, or Tuesday morning, or Monday night for those in the West. So we will do this book today as well as tomorrow, Yom al-Arbi'a, Wednesday, or Tuesday night, and then Yom al-Khamis, or Wednesday night for those in the West, we will begin level 2. Yes, we saw your comments on the videos. Jazakumullah khairan. As for Massau, you said, yo, bro, Albania is a sister, mashallah. No problem. The problem with the room being quiet is you don't know what's going on. You know, did people turn on the audio and then they just go and vacuum the house and do dishes and warm up food, and you know, what are they doing? It's just kind of quiet. Participation is necessary in teaching. You know, when the students are active, then the teacher is active, and if the teacher's not active and he's a bum, then the kids are bums, and so on. So they play off each other. Anyway, this book that we're going to read here is very short. This book is only 24 pages, counting the cover. Afradul Kalimat al-Qur'an al-Aziz, which I would call, well, technically, or literally, it's the afrad means the plural of farid, or those individual words or unique words of the mighty Qur'an. And inshallah, I think I will change the title to that, unique words, afrad, right? This is by Ahmed ibn Faris al-Lughawi, who died in the year 395, which we can see is very early on. Ahmed ibn Faris al-Lughawi, as some of the scholars say, there's a book which was written called Manahaj al-Lughawiyin fi Taqrir al-Aqidah, the manhaj or the methodologies of the linguists in confirming Aqidah. So what was the minhaj? Because it's important for us to realize that if you have the language without the Quran and the Sunnah, you will probably go astray. And this is what we see, what has happened with many people who at one time may have been thought to call to the Sunnah, that they, due to their language skills, they become or think that they're too smart and they overthink things and they go astray. They put more emphasis on the Arabic than they do the Quran and the Sunnah. And so you see someone who maybe goes to a certain country, they travel overseas, and all they do is they learn Arabic. And they don't sit with the scholars, but they learn Arabic. And they may learn Arabic well. But because they didn't sit with the scholars, then their manners are bad. And their aqidah and their way of dealing with things might be bad, but they know the language well. And this is a mistake. You have to learn the language along with the religion, and you have to learn the religion along with the language. They go hand in hand. You can't have Islam only in English. Your religion is a translated religion. And you can't have it only in Albanian or only in Japanese or only in French or Indonesian or whatever it might be. It needs to be in Arabic. And you can't just have someone who only knows Arabic and take your religion from them if they don't know Islam. They don't know Quran and Sunnah. So anyway, they said, this author of this book, Manahij al-Lughawiyin fi Taqrir al-Aqidah, he mentioned a number of scholars from the linguists, from the scholars of language who were upon the manhaj of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, and Ahmed ibn Faris was one of them. So we can feel safe, inshallah ta'ala, that hopefully everything presented in here is according to the manhaj of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. He died in the year 395. He has a famous dictionary called Maqayis al-Lugha. There's a famous dictionary called Maqayis al-Lugha. It's a famous dictionary. It's a good dictionary if you don't have it. It's a good dictionary if you don't have it. You can get one in one big thick volume, or it also has a better print with spaced out words and, you know, place where maybe you could write notes or whatever. And 6 volumes. No. May Allah help y'all. Tayyib. This book is, like we said, only 24 pages, but the first part of it is nothing but introduction about who Ibn Faris was and all that. We'll put the PDF link in the description after the video. And these next pages are examples of the manuscript. So if you have trouble reading my handwriting sometimes, imagine reading this. It's just as bad, huh? Okay. Not really worried about reading this and understanding it. What we want to do. His purpose of this book, he has a book called Jami at-Ta'wil, which is basically a tafsir, basically what the scholars of tafsir at his time had already said. And he gathered from that these 34 words. This book is going to contain 34 words. And the point of them is that the word means something by its root. For instance, rahmah, ra, ha, mim has something to do with rahmah, right? Mercy, right? But maybe in one case it means something else. All the times it means this, except one time it means something else. So it's like an exception to the rule. So maybe we went over these words before in our reading of the Quran one word at a time. And maybe when we said them with all of one meaning, except we didn't really focus on the fact it changed in this particular ayah. So this is what this book is about. I don't know how long it's going to take us, but inshallah ta'ala, 2 days, bidnillah. So first up here, he praises Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he talks about that he gathered these words from the above book called Jamia Ta'wil. I'm not sure if that's printed or not. But he says, and this is a science in Islam, in Arabic, in tafsir, called al-kulliyat. Al-kulliyat, meaning every time something appears, it means something. So, for example, Ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhuma, he said, every time you hear the word ibadah, the ayn ba dal of ibadah, every time you hear that, it means tawheed. So this is a kulliyah, meaning every time this happens, it means this. So when the Prophet, so when Allah Azza wa Jal said, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ مَا خَلَقْنَا الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have not created the jinn and mankind except to worship me. Ya'buduni. He says, yuwahiduni, meaning to make tawheed, to single me out in worship. Right? Ya'buduni, yani yuwahiduni. So this is the thing, kulliyat. So here we have kulliyat that he's going to discuss. Kulliyat he's going to discuss, but one time it means something else. So he says every time, and kullu ma fi kitabillah jalla thana'uhu, right? And this is something when you're learning, you want to increase. For instance, we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah azza wa jal, right? Allah jalla jalaluhu. Memorize these different ways of saying the same thing. Not the same thing, but praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jalla thana'uhu. Jalla meaning man, mighty, majestic. Thana'uhu is his praise. Min dhikr al-asaf. Every time al-asaf, asafa is mentioned, meaning basically ayn, sin, fa. Every time that root is mentioned, its meaning is huzn. Its meaning is huzn, sadness, grief. Like in the statement of the story of Yaqub, salawatullahi alayhi. It's another word. Instead of saying alayhi salam, you could say salawatullahi alayhi. Ya asafa ala Yusuf. Ya asafa ala Yusuf. So this is in Surah Yusuf where he said, oh my sorrow, like oh my grief over Yusuf. So Yaqub was saying Ya Asafa, and also if you know Yusuf, it's also related from the same root, huzn. And if you look at his life, he led a life that had a lot of sadness involved in it. His brothers wanted to kill him, and they threw him in a well. He was sold. He was betrayed by the wife and sent to prison and forgotten about by the people who he helped out, interpreted their dreams, and so on. You know, when he even after many years, when his brothers came and wanted to get some food, then when he put the cup of the king into the bag of his brother Benjamin, they said if he stole, then a brother before his stole. SubhanAllah. It's not enough that you got rid of him and threw him in the bottom of a well and don't know what happened to him. Now you got to blame him for stealing too. He led a life that had some sadness involved in it, and sadness for his father as well. So every time we see this word asafa, it means something to do with sadness or grief, except in the statement in Surah Al-Zukhruf, فَلَمَّا أَسَفُونَا. فَلَمَّا أَسَفُونَا, this is ayat number 55. Then the meaning here is أَغْضَبُونَ. أَغْضَبُونَ. right? And in the story of Musa, alayhi salam, غَضْبَانَ asifa, in Surah Al-A'raf, then Ibn Abbas said that this means to be grieved. Muqtadan, to be grieved. Asafa means grief here, right? So asafa means grief, except in this one ayat. Falama asafuna in Surah Al-Zukhruf, then asafuna here means aghdabuna, they angered us. Tayyib, that's number one. Number two, kulama fil Qur'an min dhikr al-buruj. Every time the buruj is mentioned, ba, ra, jim, buruj, then it means the stars. It means the stars. Like in was-sama'i dhat al-buruj, right? Except in Surah An-Nisa, ayat number 78. وَلَوْ كُنْتُمْ فِي بُرُوجٍ مُشَيَّدَةٍ. Here, buruj means tall castles. Tall castles. High up in the sky. Fortresses. Tall, high fortresses. So, I don't know how. You might make note of this. You might just say, for example, buruj. You might write down buruj means kawakib, or translate that to stars. And then say, except in this one ayat. The exception is Surah An-Nisa, ayat number 78. And then say that here it means tall castles are fortresses raised high in the sky. Something like that. This study in this book can be 34 notes, really. كل ما في القرآن من ذكر البر والبحر. Everything that's mentioned in the Quran from the mention of al-bar wal-bahr, meaning land and sea, then the meaning of al-bahr is water, and the meaning of al-bar is dirt, dry dirt, meaning the land, basically. Al-bar meaning the land, and al-bahr meaning the water, the ocean, the river. By land and sea, basically. Right? Except in one place in Surah Al-Rum. Bar meaning land, Bahr meaning sea, except one place in Surah Al-Rum, ayat number 41. Then it means Al-Bariya wal-Imran. Al-Bariya means inhabited lands. Like, no, it means like the what do you call uninhabited lands? What do you call it? Imran is going to be civilization. So the opposite of that is the uninhabited lands. Let me see if I can find a word for us. Bariya, okay, the open country, like the desert. The desert, al-Bariya could be the desert, right? And al-Imran is the towns, the civilized or the inhabited lands. Empty lands, that's fine. Empty lands, desert, because it might not be, you might not live where there's a desert. Empty land, just where it's out, where the people aren't living, in Imran. Normally, al-bar means the land, and al-bahr means the sea. But in this, ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر. ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر, meaning that corruption has become open in the bar and bahr. It doesn't mean on the land and the sea. It means on the desert and on the towns, in the open, in the non-inhabited lands, and in the towns or the places where people live. Now he brings another tafsir here. He says some of the scholars say that fil bar, in the bar, in this ayah here, that the corruption has become manifest on the bar and bahar, then he says on the bar means qatl ibn Adam akhahu, when the son of Adam killed his brother. And in the bahar means akhad al-malik kullu safinatin ghasba, means that the king has taken the boat by force, like in Surah, as in Surah al-Kahf. So in this case, with the explanation of this, it would mean still the land and the sea, because the son of Adam killed his brother on the land, and the king took the boats by force on the sea. So in this case, according to that statement, there wouldn't be an exception. But here they say that it means the not just desert lands, but like the sister said, open lands or barren lands. Yeah. And the towns, the places where people live. طيب, number 4. Al-Bakhs. Al-Bakhs. The word Bakhs in the Qur'an comes with the meaning of shortcoming or shortchanging, having some type of diminished value or something. Like in فَلَا يَخَافُ بَخْسًا وَلَا رَهَقًا. So do not in Surah Al-Jinn, Allah says, and do not fear bakhs, loss, nor rahaqa. Rahaqa meaning punishment. So do not fear loss of your good deeds, or decrease in your good deeds. Bakhs, wala rahaqa, nor an increase, meaning in punishment. So it comes with the meaning of loss or a decrease. Not a total loss, but a loss. Except in Surah Yusuf. Then in this case, it means haram. وَشَرَوْهُ بِثَمَنٍ بَخْسٍ. They bought him with a thaman bakhs, a price which was bakhs. Doesn't mean a low price. It means haram price. It was prohibited to buy him in the first place. Right? Sharahu bi thamanin bakhs. Bakhs here means haram. If we look in the Noble Quran, let's try to see this. Ayat number, what ayat is it? Ayat number 20. It's translated as they sold him for a low price. But here he's saying no, a haram price. Thamanin haram. It was haram to buy him and sell him. This is nice, because we see if we verify this, right, that, and it says qala fa inna ahl al-tafsir, what is the footnote? Zad al-Masir. This is Ibn al-Jawzi and Tafsir al-Qurtubi, two valuable, credible tafsirs. They say that it means haram. It's good. It's good to let me look. I got a book right here. Or do I have it right here? I don't have it right here. Or do I? No. I was trying to see if one of my dictionaries I have right here might say something. Let me see. This one is Surah Yusuf. Hopefully we can do this in 2 days. I think we can do it. If we take too long today, I'll rush tomorrow. I'll rush it tomorrow. Ayat 20, we said. Yeah, let me see here. I don't see Ibn Abbas saying anything about it in this particular book. Give me 1 second. I'll go over to my table. Tayyib. 1 second. Calf. Food. Yusuf. 20. بخس ناقص والبخس بمعنى مبخوس أي منقوص والبخس والباخس شيء الطفيف الناقص يقال بخس حقه إذا نقصه وأصل البخس نقص الشيء على سبيل الظلم. Yeah, it doesn't mention it in this book. I got one more here with me. You bear with me 1 minute. Yusuf 20. Excuse me. Feminine bucks. Yeah, it doesn't mention it here either. There's a difference. I got Baghawi over there, but our Qurtubi as well, but I didn't pull it out just because I grabbed what was easy to me. But I will look in Zad al-Masir today as well as Qurtubi and see what they say. But as we said, they say that he's on the correct Aqidah. Imam al-Dhahabi mentioned him in Siyar Alam al-Nubala with great words of praise, Ibn Faris. Al-Ba'al is a statue that the people used to worship. Yes. I don't know why that was brought up now, but hey. The next word here. كل ما في القرآن من ذكر بكم. Bukum. Right? Summum bukmun umyun. To be deaf, dumb, and blind. Dumb. Bukum, meaning dumb, you can't talk. Right? Then they all mean to not speak about, or do we skip it? No, Baal. I'm sorry. That's why it was brought up. Jazakallahu khairan. I'm sorry. Well, kullu ma fil Quran min dhikr Baal. I put the 5 there ahead of time. Then it means a zoj. A zoj. Baal means zoj, the husband. And we had a short video that we already made about the word Baal versus zoj. Also regarding the word imra'ah, like imra'at Nuh wa Lut. Wa bu'ullatuhunna ahaqqa bi riddihinna. So they're husbands, right? Ila harf wahid fi safat atad'una ba'lan. Ba'lan meaning sanaman. This is a specific idol that they used to worship. Specific idol that they used to worship. So Ba'al in the Quran is always going to mean husband, Ba'al, Ba'ul, and so on, except here in this ayat in Surah Al-Safat, ayat number 125. It means an idol that they used to worship. That was the name of an idol. And the word Ba'ul means something high up, something that has authority. And so you can see the relationship here. Ba'ul, the husband has authority over the woman. Here, Ba'al, they called it this, and this is the name of an idol. As we said, the next one was Bukum, mean for them to be silent in speaking about Islam, Iman. He says, not Islam, Iman. Like the statement Summun Bukmun in Baqarah. They're quiet, they're hypocrites, right? They're it's like they can't hear, they can't talk, they can't see, right? They are not able to speak about Tawheed, although their tongues are healthy, except in 2 places, he says here. Most of the time we have 1 time mentioned. Here 2 exceptions. One of them is in Surah Israel, Umyan Bukman wa Summan. And the others in Surah Al-Nahl, that's Surah Al-Isra, is also known as Surah Al-Isra, Bani Israel. Surah Al-Isra, same surah, surah number 17, right? Ayat number 97. And the others in Surah Al-Nahl, ayat number 76, where Allah says, Ahaduhuma abkam. Right? One of them is more abkam. What is it? In this place, bukum means actually unable to speak. Actually unable to speak. It's a difference here. He's saying up above, and all the other times it's mentioned, they're actually able to speak. They have a tongue which can speak, but they are as if they are dumb. Here, they are actually dumb, meaning not able to speak. Not able to speak. So the first ones, it's as if they are dumb. And in these two, in Surah Al-Isra, ayat 97, and in Surah Al-Nahl, ayat 86, it is actually unable to speak. The next word, everything in the Quran, jathiyya. Everything jathiyya means altogether. Jami'an. Jami'an. Jathiyya means altogether. Except in Surah Al-Shari'ah, Surah Al-Jathiyah. Surah Al-Jathiyah. It's also called Surah Al-Shari'ah. Right? وَتَرَى كُلُّ أُمَّةٍ جَثِيَّةٍ means you see them on their knees. تَجْثُ عَلَى رُكَبِهَا. You see them kneeling on their knees. Jathiyya means all together. Let's look at Surah Al-Maryam, ayat number 72. Let's see what it says here. Maryam, ayat 72. He says, here they translate it on their knees, but ثُمَّ نُنَجِّيَ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا وَنَذَرَ الظَّالِمِينَ فِيهَا جَثِيًّا. Here then we shall save those who had taqwa, right? And we will leave those who were wrongdoers in it. Here, Jathiyya, it says on their knees, but here it says means all together. Here, Ahmad ibn Faris says it means all together, not on their knees. It's interesting. Let's see who says this. Who says this? In the Kitab al-Burhan. I'm not sure who wrote that off the top of my head right now. Al-Burhan. Whose tafsir is that off the top of my head? I can't think. He has an appendix in the back. Could I explain 6 again? 6 is every time you hear the word bukum in the Quran, bukmu, al-bukmu or bukmun, this ba, kaf mean, here, they all mean, like in Surah Al-Baqarah, summun, bukmun, umyun. Here it means deaf and dumb. It means dumb. All of them mean dumb, basically. But most of them mean that they're dumb. While they are able to speak, they don't. While in Surah Al-Nahl and in Surah Bani Israel, Surah Al-Isra, then when it appears in those two surahs, it actually means unable to speak. So it's as if the first two are, I don't like to say metaphorical, right? I don't say that about the Quran. Al-Bahrani, huh? Al-Burhan fi tafsir al-Quran lil-Amat Sayyid Hashim ibn Sulaiman al-Bahrani. Jazakumullah khairan. So these are saying that they're not able to speak about Iman. Al-Kharasu and Al-Kalam bil-Iman, that they were silent about speaking about Iman, like in the statement of Allah, Summun Bukmun, Umyun, Fahum La Yarji'un, in Surah Al-Baqarah. Also in another ayat where it mentions it, ayat 171, bukmun an nutq, that meaning they are dumb, they are unable to speak bit tawheed, about tawheed, ma sihhati al-sinatihim, while their tongues are sound, healthy, right? So they don't speak, they're as if they're not able to speak about Islam or Iman, although their tongues are sound and healthy. Whereas the other ones, when it mentions it in Surah Al-Isra and in Surah Al-Nahl, it means they're actually not able to speak. Their tongues don't work. The actual meaning of dumb, right? طيب. The next one, number 8. Everything that's in the Quran, it mentions husban wa hisab. This root of ha, sin, ba. Right? Ha, sin, ba. Everything is mentioned in husban or hisab in the Quran is referring to a number. Al-adad. The number. Or reckoning. Number. فهو العدد. Except in Surah Al-Kahf. Husbanan here. Husbanan min as-sama' means punishment. Adab. Normally, husban or hisab means accounting, reckoning, dealing with the numbers of your deeds and so on. Here in Surah Al-Kahf, it means adab. Number 9. وَكُلُّ مَا فِي الْقُرْآنِ مِنْ حَسْرَةٍ. Hasra means an-nadama. Fahiya an-nadama means regret, remorse or regret. Like in the statement of Allah Jalla wa Ala, Ya hasratan ala al-ibad. Right? Ya hasrata. So that Allah may make, or here it says, what is it? Ya how great is the regret over the servants. And then in the statement in Surah Ali Imran, ayat number 156, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لِيَجْعَلَ اللَّهُ ذَلِكَ حَسْرَةً فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ. Here, hasratan here means huznan. Here it means sorrow, sadness, grief. It doesn't mean regret. It means sorrow, sadness. They're related, but it's not the same. The 10th one, وَكُلُّ مَا فِي الْقُرْآنِ مِنْ الدَّهْضِ. Dahd. This is a difficult word for me to say. The dah, ha, and dad right after it. Dahd. Right? Everything in the Quran with this root. Da, ha, dal. Dal, ha, dad. Dal, ha, dad. Ad-dahid. Ad-dahid. Right? Then it means falsehood or invalid. Batil. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Hujjatuhum dahidatun inda rabbihim. Their proof or their evidence, their argument is false with their Lord. Right? Except, which is in Surah Al-Safat, ayat number 141, Surah 37, ayat 141. فَكَانَ مِنَ الْمُضْحَدِينَ. كَانَ مِنَ الْمُضْحَدِينَ. So he became from the mudhadin, meaning the defeated. Right? The defeated. Al-maqru'in. Those who were defeated. You can see the relationship there, but the meaning is different. But you can see the relationship. You might say, well, that's just a choice of how to use a word in a sentence in a particular context. True. But looking at it with this in mind, what we just read makes it clear how to translate it, how to understand it. وكل حرف في القرآن من رجز را جيم زي را جيم زي فهو العذاب. Every time this ra jim zay appears, then it means punishment or torment. Like in the statement of the one who said, La in kashafta anna rijsa, right? If you remove from us the rijs, meaning the punishment. This is in Surah Al-Araf. Except when we look in Surah Al-Mudaththir, in Surah Al-Mudaththir, which was probably what we mostly know this word, وَالرُّجْزَ فَهْجُرْ, then rujz here, it means idols. To stay away from the idols and worshiping them. A rujz in Surah Al-Mudaththir means idols. Other than that, it means adhab. And you can see a relationship there, right? The idols are a source of punishment, but it means idols. Whereas up here, you can't say and remove from us the idols. No, remove from us the punishment or the torment. The 12th one, وَكُلُّ شَيْءٍ فِي الْقُرْآنِ مِنْ رَيْبٍ. Everything in the Quran dealing with raib, فَهُوَ shak. It means doubt. Except one time, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, tatarabbasu. We said tatarabbas means to lie in wait and to watch for an opportunity. Tatarabbasu bihi raib al-manun. Raib al-manun here means the calamities of time. Raib al-manun فإنه يعني حوادث الدهر, those calamities of time. So raib here does not mean doubt. It means calamities together with this word. Raib al-manun, calamities of time. This is a phrase. How did they get that phrase? Maybe it would become clear. It's from Shek or this or that. Maybe. But it's not clear to us where that comes from at this point. You know? And it's just a phrase. Maybe it's picked up how it's used. Allah knows best. Raib means doubt, except in this ayah in Surah At-Tur, ayah number 30. Raib al-manun means hawadith al-dahr, the vicissitudes or the calamities of time. Our 13th word, and we say we have 34. وَكُلُّ شَيْءٍ فِي الْقُرْآنِ لَنَرْجُمَنَّكُمْ. This rajam, لَنَرْجُمَنَّكُمْ, we're going to stone you, we're going to kill you. وَيَرْجُمُوكُمْ, meaning they'll stone or kill you, refers to qatl, killing. This rajam here refers to killing, except in Surah Maryam, ayat number 46. لَأَرْجُمَنَّكَ means لَأَشْتَمَنَّكَ, I'm going to insult you or revile you. I'm going to insult you. From shetam, the word shetam, to insult, to revile. Let's look at what it says in the Quran, 1946. Let's see, Maryam, ayat number 46. Let's see what it says here in the Noble Quran. Here they translate it as stoning. Up above, it says, "Oh, my father, verily I fear lest a torment from the most gracious should overtake you so that you become a companion of Shaitan." This is Ibrahim talking to his father, and he said, "Do you reject my gods, O Ibrahim? If you do not stop, I will indeed stone you, so get away from me before I punish you." Here it says it does not mean stoning. It means I'm going to curse you or insult you. And here, let's look at the footnote here. Again, it's in Burhan. It's in Burhan. These are interesting points. For example, I know this is not this book that we're talking about. Uh, I'm trying to find something here. 1 second. Uh, okay, I was seeing somebody who's speaking about Arabic yesterday. In Surah Al-Zumar, it says, وَوُفِيَتْ كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا عَمِلَتْ وَوُفِيَتْ. And every person will be paid in full. Wafa, right? We had this word yesterday. وَوُفِيَتْ كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا عَمِلَتْ. Every person shall be paid in full for what he did. وَهُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا يَفْعَلُونَ. And he is more knowledgeable or most knowledgeable regarding what they do. So here it says, Wufiyat kullu nafsin ma amilat. Every person shall be paid in full for what they did. Amilat. And then after that, and he knows best what they do. Yaf'alun. So here we have the word amila and we have fa'ala. Both of them being translated as did or done or do. Right? What's the difference? وَوُفِيَتْ كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا عَمِلَتْ. An amal is an action, something that you do with an intention. With an intention. And a fi'l is something that you do and it doesn't require an intention. You scratched your nose because it itched. That's a fi'l. It's not necessarily an amal. An amal is where you go out and you actually do something. So you will be prepared, or you will be repaid in full for what you do with an intention. And Allah knows best of what you do, meaning with or without an intention. So it's good to know this, especially coming across the Qur'an, to know what these words mean. Okay, number 14. وَكُلُّ حَرْفٍ فِي الْقُرْآنِ مِنْ زُورٍ. Right? Min zur means lying and falsehood. Well, kalimat zur, it's lying. Right? Well, yurad bihi shirk, and its meaning is shirk. Right? This zur, which means lying, it's used as shirk, except in one place in Surah Al-Mujadila or Mujadala, right? Both of them being correct. Munkarin min al-qawli wa zura. Right? This zur, feinahu kadhib. It means lying, but it does not mean shirk. So this zur, it means lying, but it's always referring to shirk, except in Surah Al-Mujadila, ayah number 2, where it means lying, but is not referring to shirk. So this will help you if you keep this and you can memorize these things, or if you can refer back to them, you put them in a place where you can get back to them easily. Then you can, inshallah ta'ala, help you understand those ayats better. وَكُلُّ شَيْءٍ فِي الْقُرْآنِ مِنْ زَكَاةٍ فَهُوَ الْمَالِ. Everything regarding zakat in the Quran is about money, wealth. Except in Surah Maryam, alayhi salam, referring to Maryam, وَحَنَانًا مِنْ لَدُنَّ وَالزَّكَاةِ. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, and compassion from us, hananan, compassion, was zakat. Zakat meaning affection, ta'attufan. Zakat here doesn't mean wealth. It means ta'attufan. Let's look and see what it says in Maryam. What ayat 13? It says, here it says, and pure, and a mercy, and sympathetic to men as a mercy from us. and pure from sins. Here they translate it zakat as being pure. Here he's saying it means ta'attufan, means to be affectionate and compassionate. The PDF will be placed in the description of the video once the class is over, inshallah. That's what I do. Any of my classes, you can go to the first video in the playlist, and in the description of that video, you will find the PDF. نعم. وكل شيء في القرآن زاغوا لا تزغ. Right? Then it means, here it means to deviate, to turn aside. Right? To deviate or to turn aside. فَلَمَّا زَاغُوا. So when they turned aside, when they deviated, meaning the people of Musa, زَاغَ اللَّهُ قُلُوبَهُم. Then Allah deviated their hearts. Allah turned their hearts away. لَا تُزِغْ, meaning don't deviate. Right? Then this is malu, meaning to lean towards or away from something. وَلَا تُمِلْ, and don't lean or don't lean away. Right? Here it's positive. Here it's negative because of the la. Right? To lean or don't lean. Except in Surah Al-Ahzab, ayat number 10, وَإِذَا زَاغَتَ الْأَبْصَارِ. زَاغَتَ الْأَبْصَارِ, here it means that they stared fixedly. Shakhasat. Shakhasat. Shakhasat meaning to stare fixedly in fear, basically. To stare out of fear. Let's look and see what it says in Surah Al-Ahzab, ayat number 10. Let's see. Now, because we're saying this doesn't mean we can go around saying there's all types of mistakes inside the Noble Quran or this translation or that translation. These are what a man wrote, and this is what he understood and what he learned, and what some of the Mufassirun said, and he puts the footnotes in the bottom if you're able to access them, right? So doesn't mean you can go around. Different people have different opinions, and they also don't necessarily contradict each other, as we learned that one word can have more than one meanings. What is ihdina sirat al-mustaqim? Sirat al-mustaqim means the Quran. Guide us to the Quran. Guide us to Iman. Guide us to the Sunnah. Guide us to Islam. Guide us to a number of different things. They might translate a sirat al-mustaqim as, or say that it means the Quran, the Sunnah, Islam, this, that. None of them contradict each other. Anyway, here it says, minkum wa idha zaghat al-absar, and when the eyes grew wild, right? And the hearts reached their throats. This is out of fear, right? So this is what they say. Zagu means to deviate. Here it says when the eyes grew wild, when they became what did I say earlier? What was the word I used? They stared fixedly. They grew wild, like a person who is scared. His eyes get big, right? That's what it means in this ayat 10 of Surah Al-Ahzab, Surah number 33. We'll do one or two more, just not knowing how long tomorrow will take, although we've done half. And y'all can let me know if y'all think this is beneficial or not. You know, I don't think it's necessarily as beneficial as going over words in their context, but I think it's good to keep notes. وَكُلُّ شَيْءٍ فِي الْقُرْآنِ يَسْخَرُونَ. Everything in the Quran which mentions يَسْخَرُونَ, it's number 17, that they mock, right? That they are mocking, sikhriya, mocking. Then it means istihza, to be mocking at and making fun of. Yaskharun means mocking and making fun of. Except in Surah Al-Zukhruf, لِيَتَّخِذَ بَعْدُهُمْ بَعْضَ سُخْرِيَّةً. Here, sukhriya means taking them as عونا وخدما, helpers, taking them as helpers and servants. All right, let's look. Surah Al-Zukhruf, ayat 32. Let's look and see what we have in the Noble Quran. Just because we're looking in the Noble Quran doesn't mean that we're criticizing the Noble Quran. We're just seeing how, though Sheikh Taqiyuddin al-Hilali was a scholar of Islam, and man, what was the other one that was with him? Mohsin Khan was a scholar of the language for sure, and as far as we know, on the Sunnah for sure. So they were powerful, but they could do things, and their translation has been criticized some as well, that it does have some mistakes or some things that could be better. So here he says, where's it at? Sukhriya. Yeah, he says that they may employ others to do their work. Sukhriya here does not mean mockery and making fun of, but sukhriya here means to make them helpers and servants. طيب. We'll make this our last one, inshallah. Number 18. وَكُلُّ سَكِينَةٍ فِي الْقُرْآنِ. Every sakina, sakana, sin, kaf, nun. Every sakina, tuma'nina, means to have calmness or tranquility of the heart. Right? Every sakina in the Quran is to have calmness or tranquility in the heart, except for one place in Baqarah, fihi sakinatun min rabbikum. Sakina here in Surah Al-Baqarah means shay'an kara'sil hirra, something like the cat's head, having laha janahan, it has two wings, kanat fi tabut, that it was in the tabut, the, what do they call it, the ark, the covenant of the ark, or whatever it was, a tabut. Here, sakina doesn't mean tranquility of the heart. Here it means something like the head of a cat, Ra's al-Hirra. It had two wings, and there was something that was in the tabut. Let's look at it. This is in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat number 248. One second. Ayat Al-Baqarah 248. Here it says, here he translated as sakina. Here he translated as sakina, meaning peace. Right? But it doesn't seem to make sense. وَالسَّكِينَةُ مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ وَبَقِيَّةٌ مِمَّا تَرَكَ. Let's see here. Let's look at these other two books. Baqarah 248. And I got other books that I could look at that are more detailed, but these are the two that I had on my shelf. So on my table over there, so I grabbed them real quick. 248. Where are we at? Almost there. Almost. Yeah, it translated as Tumanina in this book. And let's look over here. And there's one other one. Probably will say the same thing because I think these books are related somehow. Almost there. Sakina Tumanina was a while robo. Asl Sakin Khilaf al-Ittirab wal-Haraka. Yeah, it doesn't give us that. We have to look at the tafsir in more detail. But where does he say it here? Except in one place, he mentions it Al-Burhan again. Let's look up this Al-Burhan real quick and see what the scholars say about it. Al-Burhan fi tafsir. Give me 1 second. Al-Burhan fi tafsir. Li al-Bahrani, huh? معتمد منهج الرواية روائي السيد هاشم البحراني المؤلف التفسير. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Let me try to find out. Let's make sure that that's what the hadith is, that's referring to before we read anymore. Give me a second. What is the Al-Burhan fi Ulum al-Quran? La, Al-Burhan. You mentioned this of him, but Al-Burhan. You looked it up quickly. I don't know if that's where you got it from. Hassan Fatahi or whatever. But Al-Burhan fi Ulum al-Quran here is the Zarkashi. Right? Of a Zarkashi, not of Al-Bahrani. That Bahrani, if I'm not mistaken, is Rafidi, Shi'i. I could be mistaken. But I think he's a Shi'i. That one that you mentioned, Al-Burhan fi Tafsir al-Quran, is, I believe, a Shi'i. So that's incorrect. So if anyone heard that, طيب. As for a Burhan of Zarkashi, right? Then this is where he's getting it from, and we'll have to see and check with some other books, inshallah ta'ala. Anyway, I find this book beneficial. It helps me to understand, especially if I can remember these points, remember these 34 words, that when they come, they have a slightly different meaning, then it's beneficial to understand in the book of Allah Azza wa Jal. We'll stop here. This is an ocean that we're treading in, that its shores are far, far away. We'll never be able to reach the other side, but we can enjoy swimming, inshallah. Yeah. Yeah, Zarkashi, not Al-Burhani. Yeah, the Burhani, I believe, is a Shia. طيب, tomorrow we'll finish the last 16 or whatever, right? We'll finish the last 16. And then the next day we will start with level 2. We read Al-Fatiha and the first 5 ayat of Baqarah, but we'll reread them. We will reread them. Right? Those wows and R's. Right, Masao? Wows and R, W's and R's are too close together. We will reread them. It's a tongue twister. طيب, جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.